All right. The B&J fantasy recaps are back for the 5 people who apparently want them. So here we are with a week 1 and 2 summary. So we should introduce ourselves in case people don't know us. I assume everyone knows Jake. Say hi, Jake.
Hi.
See, we have our names displayed. This is very professional.
Yeah.
We are serious people.
Tyler GT/Pinko.
I am Jesse Ulrich /Thyroid Storm.
And those are our names.
What's your team name, Jake?
The Pikers, the Tarsus 4 Pikers. I'm also a co-commish of the league, but you all know that.
It's a great fancy team name. I'm proud that you've never changed it.
Star Trek.
All right, so week 1, which was not pleasant for me, so I've tried to forget it already. But what happened week 1 that was interesting?
Well, I'll give you just a little bit. Kareem Hunt scored 39.9 points, and then followed it up with a lot more points the next week. Not like in addition to, but 24.
Let's be honest. Really, just the one play he got points on. Just the one play.
I would like
the 50 whatever yard touchdown. He was like 8 for 9 yards until like the third quarter.
So
I'm just saying.
If you've seen the boards, you know that Doobie and I own Kareem Hunt. Very proud. And this guy over here in GT has decided that he's garbage for some reason, even though he's the #1 player in fantasy football right now, but terrible, obviously trash. So joke's on you, Tyler.
He's slow.
I'll tell you he's trash. So as the person who scored the least points in week 1, I can tell you who's trash, and that's everyone. So again, I in years past have tried to do some research before the draft. This year I was like, you know what? I'm just going to wing it because I spent all this time and all this money reading all these things. And that's when you draft Andrew Luck, who is injured for who knows how long. So, children, do your research.
Month of October.
Yep.
Maybe. We don't know.
We don't know. Let's see.
So week 1, Kyle scored the most points in the league with 119.7. Week 2, Doobie edged me out for he scored 140.4. I scored 132.
I think wasn't Chad up there as well?
Cheating. What?
Wasn't Chad up there as well? Trash.
Yeah, top four right now goes Doobie, myself, Kyle, Chad, Flippo, Stephanie. Well, it's more than top 4, but still, that's the top several.
The top 4, starting from number 7, going up.
Plus or minus 3. Yeah. Everyone else's conference besides the Coastal is really, really a powerhouse for points.
So let's start off. We're 2 weeks in. There's been a boatload of injuries. Teams have already been shaken up. The waiver wire has played its part. Jesse, who do you think's the best stacked to win this darn thing?
Let's see. I feel like any of the players who drafted running backs over wide receivers early on, I think are going to probably do best overall, because it's like there are a lot of running backs who will score you points. The problem is no one knows who they are. So people who have the most of them, will have a higher percentage of actually scoring points. Let's see. I'm looking at people's teams. Yeah, Chad's team is pretty good. I mean, mostly just because Tom Brady.
So you're going with Chad?
I feel like.
God, I hope not.
Yeah, I don't want him to.
Trash for those counting at home. Trash is Chad.
That's true. Let's see who else. Let's look at Doobie's team.
Tom Brady, Tariq Cohen, Devonta Freeman, Mike Gilsey, Paul Perkins. Devontae Adams.
I know.
That would be the trash part of his team.
Yeah. Clearly. All right, GT, what do you think? Who do you think's got the best chance to make a run at this thing?
I would say probably I like your team just because you're got Keenan Allen, Michael Crabtree, and the running backs, and Rodgers, of course. Doobie is really good. I do disagree about the running backs early. I think we're going to start seeing. I don't know. That's why I went wide receivers early, because I feel you can get a good running back off the waiver wire at some point, but wide receiver you can't. So we'll see. But I think right now it's the clear favorites are you and DB, Jake.
Yeah, that's interesting because I find that you can find wide receivers on the waiver wire all day long, but you can't find.
Yeah, but you can't find a 200-point wide receiver off the waiver wire like you can find like a Jay Ajayi or Jordan Howard or whatever.
That seems to happen every year. We don't know who that person is yet.
Yeah, that's the problem. I mean, I would say, especially now, and again, I should have thought about this ahead of time, with the new rule that you can play an extra running back, it'd be almost better to focus on running backs in the draft than wide receivers, because again, I think you can pick up a decent wide receiver halfway through the season.
Well, so I'll give you guys a stat that I found interesting when I was doing my kind of not necessarily strategy because it got blown up as soon as Odell Beckham was there, but so the number one wide receiver last year in our league was Antonio Brown.
Yes.
Jesse. That he had 228 points. Guess who the equivalent running back was points wise, like identical.
Last year?
Yeah.
228 points?
Yep.
Where? Spencer Ware?
No, LeGarrette Blount.
I was going to say Blunt because he scored he had 3 weeks where he scored 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, and he was the number 7 running back overall. So, and he was like a 10th round pick or free agent. So that's kind of where I was like, you have a better shot statistically, at least in my opinion, of hitting on a running back late than you do hitting on a good wide receiver.
So you don't.
That was my strategy going in.
You don't invest in the strategy that because of that known fact that it is more difficult to predict who that running back is, it's going to be sustainable and land in the top 5. That you should draft more of them so that you have better odds of landing that person. You don't buy into that.
No, I do. I mean, if you look at my team, I mean, again, it wasn't planned; it just happened that way. But I took 4 or 5 mid-round running backs, and they're carrying my team right now. And the wide receivers, I'm still waiting to come online. So, I mean, if you look at the wide receivers right now, it's just all over the place. I mean, who knows? But that's if I look at the past several teams that have won, they've always had 2 top 10 wide receivers and top 10 running back, and then 1 just out of the blue running back. So, yeah, I mean, who knows?
In the Super Bowl last year, if you remember, running backs were so thin that both Casey and I started Farrow out of Cleveland. Kenneth Farrow, I believe his name was. We both started in the Super Bowl because we had nobody else.
I would just like to say that anyone who's still angry about the Antonio Brown trade, just know that the 1 year I finally got New England team tight end, Rob Gronkowski got hurt in week 2. So my karma still points negative. So you're all welcome.
But you also just dropped T.Y. Hilton tonight.
That's true. I don't understand why everyone is angry at me about this.
No one's angry. We're just making fun of you.
Oh, yeah.
I have better wide receivers than him. Who knows when Andrew Luck is going to be back?
Trade to be made fun of.
Yeah, here's the thing. I'm not trading ever again. So
no, you're just going to make really bad drops from now on. So
no one would trade with me anyway this early.
I would have, but I'm not in your division.
And we're never trading again.
I would have traded with you, Jesse.
Whatever.
So moving on to, I guess, Survivor.
Real briefly, because the Survivor pool is more fun. Just a pools pick update because it's my favorite.
Yeah, I like the pools. It's my first year doing it. I'm enjoying it.
First year ever?
Yeah, and a funny story, I didn't actually understand the rankings on week 1, so I did it like college football style, and I was like, oh no, I got way less points than I should have.
Week 1, I did.
Week 2.
I would suggest everyone watching, don't do it from the app. do it from the browser because while you can do it from the app,
Yeah.
it is a slow going process.
It's slow and it's very difficult to see what you're actually doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm actually usually what happens is I do terrible in the pool picks until my team is eliminated from the playoffs, and then I really focus in on it, and usually make a deep run at Flippo, who's always leading somehow by the end. But this year I'm coming up strong. It's Texas Illini 1 with 213 points, Beantown Badasses with 199, me with 194, and Trash with 192.
Yeah, so it's interesting. Texas Illini, who's Noid,
Noid.
knows a lot about football, right? That doesn't necessarily matter. He is the weakest fantasy team we have with a year total of 129.8 points.
Damn.
Scored him last week alone. But the guy's leading in NFL pool picks, so he seems to know what's going to happen in the actual games, but just can't staff his team appropriately.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think as life has taught us, fantasy football is in no way correlated to real football.
Well, yeah, it's not actual football knowledge, right? It's all prediction.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Oh, he's back.
Oh, there we go. All right.
We'll edit it in post.
There's no editing on this. I don't have time for that. All right, so Survivor Pool. I would like to say that to all the people who picked New England first, I want you to know I was with you until Thursday afternoon that day, and I was like, you know what?
You almost did it again.
I'm going to save New England for later in the season. Best decision I've made so far.
So the only two drops we have right now is GT, congratulations, and Vogel.
Vogel.
Week 1.
Oh, man, how's
5 week 2.
How's Vogel's team doing? Because I drafted his team. Is his team doing well?
Average.
Is he 1-1?
Yeah.
I think he's mid-range. Yeah, he's perfectly average.
Doing as well as my team.
No, he's doing a lot better than your team.
Oh, there he is. No, he's 0-2.
I say a lot better. He's only 15 points better than yours year to date.
I mean, I think he has a better team. But he does have 3 quarterbacks, which is weird. But
yeah, Vogel really hoarding quarterbacks. Come on.
Yeah. So yeah, Survivor Pool. Again, like week 1 is really the worst because, as we've learned, anything can happen. Also, I try not to bet on Thursday night games in the Survivor Pool. It just seems like a bad idea.
Yeah, but it was the first one, and no one expected the Chiefs to actually go into Foxborough. And
that's true.
I mean, I hoped so.
Honestly, my strategy was not to pick the Patriots that week because I wanted to save them for later. That's why I went with Buffalo.
Yeah, and I
think the line on that game was like 9. The spread was like 9 points too in favor of the Patriots, so it wasn't a bad pick.
Yeah, I mean,
in hindsight,
Pittsburgh was the most picked team in week 1, and I think Oakland was the most picked team in week 2. So, I mean,
Jets.
I know I'm just gonna keep picking against the Jets. So,
got to.
Or the Giants, really.
Listen, that's a solid strategy. We're tanking, obviously.
What's funny is football is the one sport where tanking would actually work perfectly. But anyway, so what else? We don't really have enough weeks yet to determine whether any rule changes have made a major effect because we don't know how many people have been starting more running backs than others. But
I feel that it's overwhelmingly 3 running backs and 2 wide receivers.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I've been looking through, and I mean, of course, that's just a real quick glance.
I think that'll shift. I think as running backs continue to drop, and whether they're starting running backs or they got lucky with the handcuff that turns out to be the real deal. You'll see some teams continue with 3, and then the other half of the league will go wide receiver and double tight end because they just don't have the staff to start three running backs every week.
Well, and then when the bye weeks hit,
injuries hit. Replacements hit. I mean, right now Rob Kelly's got some broken ribs, so I'm sitting pretty with Samaje Perine.
You're welcome. He's average at best.
You picked up Derrick Henry off the waiver wire, and he's looking to get.
Thanks, Zay. Appreciate it.
Buck Allen's starting to take carries from Terrence West. There's all sorts of hell going on right now, so it's just not sustainable. I think yes, the first 3, maybe 4 weeks, you'll see 3 running backs, but I think it'll go 50-50 from that point on as rosters start to adjust with injuries and suspensions and whatnot.
Well, also, if you look at like the top 10 wide receivers, they're like, besides Antonio Brown and Michael Crabtree, they're like all waiver wire guys. So like Julio hasn't got started, Jordy got injured, so he'd probably be up there.
Always
But
been a guy that's going to end up with 1,600 yards and like 5 touchdowns.
yeah, I mean,
And
so the
game.
wide receivers are starting out real slow this year, which is kind of interesting. But
I'm pretty sure Michael Crabtree has a lot of touchdowns already.
well, I mean, like the top picks,
Yeah,
like AJ Green, all those guys are. I mean, it's gonna be one of those to where.
I mean, your number 2
start going off soon.
Wide receiver year to date, Quentin Nelson.
Yeah, and
that's not going to last. I mean, that's if you remember this time last year, your number 2 wide receiver for the league, or number 3, was Marvin Jones.
Right.
That blow up week 2 against the Packers. So week 2, it's nothing to. You're not going to draw year-end conclusions off of the stats that you're seeing today. What you can see is Antonio Brown's number 4, Stephen Diggs, Keenan Allen's in the top 10. Alshon Jeffrey's looking to have a good year, surprising everybody. I think you're going to see the cream rise to the top. It's just going to be a matter of time. Julio Jones is number 20 right now, wide receiver speaking. Dez is sitting at 23, and he's had some tough matchups so far. So Mike Evans has had 1 game, and he's number 29.
Yeah, we're not supposed to speak about the other league, but I have Mike Evans. I was very happy with it. So if you have Antonio Brown, don't trade him. Is what you're telling me here.
What you're saying is, if you have Antonio Brown, contact me. We'll talk a trade. That's what needs to happen at this point. It's week 2. It's time for that to occur.
Listen, I still stand by that decision. My team wasn't going to make the playoffs anyway. So, good day. All right. Again, this is our first one of these. We're still working out the kinks. So we don't have necessarily any major previews for next week. But
no previews for next week. I don't even see next week's schedule. I know that crap, I already forgot who I was facing.
You're facing Sooner Terps.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Kind of jumping in blind a little bit, so bear with us as we get back up to speed on this thing. But we've got Victoria's Secret versus Atomic Bombs, which is going to be a pretty big matchup. Doobie's got Jesse here, so
I'm dead.
Doobie's the number 1 team in the league right now. Let's see if he continues to roll. You've got Kyle against Noid. Noid's the weakest team, so Kyle should probably win that. Free agents, which is an interesting story. So if you go to, I realized this earlier today, and if you're on a PC and you go to the one thing that I look at the absolute most, I'm looking at free agency, which is reports, player, top performers, and my top performers and free agents list. They've changed their filter this year, and you will notice that I notice this a lot in the commissioner mode, that because Shorty has free agents in his name, his players show up in that list. So I'm like, oh, sweet, that dude's available, and it's not really. It's just Shorty's. So showing up there, that's
I noticed that. Glitch. Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, that's why that's going on. It's searching by the term free agent, and because he has that in his team name, it's showing up in your list. So just bear with that. I'm sure they'll work out that kink.
Yeah, I feel like they shouldn't be searching for the word free agent. It should be marked in some other sort of way in their database, but whatever.
You would think.
Oh well.
But I was beating my head against the wall trying to figure out what I had done wrong to screw that up, and realized it finally wasn't me this time. So if you're in the Western Conference and you're searching free agents and Shorty's players keep showing up, ignore them. They'll fix it eventually.
Send him lots of trade offers. Late at night. So yeah, everyone, avoid the Thursday night game as per usual. And
oh no, I've always had great luck on Thursday nights. I mean, that's when Kareem Hunt got the 40 points.
God damn it. Let's not forget, Mike Gillisley also had like 30 points.
True.
No, let's sweep that under the rug. That didn't happen.
My man.
Well, I wish you all a frustrating weekend that feels really bad, like by 4 p.m.
Did you forget to pronounce the R in there? It's FR, frustrating.
Frustrating? Fustigating?
I thought only Carolinians did that.
Frustrating?
That's
lovely.
I hope people watch this at work.
All right. For the record, I think I never answered the question earlier. Doobie's probably got the strongest team in my opinion because again, he's drafted excellent running backs once again, which pisses me off.
I'm happy with my, actually I'm not happy with anything. I mean, I have Des Bryant, so that's something. Yay!
Yeah, it's something.
Trade him. There's a lot of Cowboys fans. So there's a lot of Cowboys fans in this league. You should trade him away.
Send me offers, but not by text. You know who you are.
Zayden.
Yes. And I'm sorry, Filippo, that you can't send me trade offers via BOK's internal chat anymore, since I was only there for 4 days. So.
Only there for 4 days. He was offered you trade.
No. Chris was like, "Be careful. Filippo's gonna send you a lot of trades on this thing," and then I was able to bring it up with Filippo before he could do it. So, but
that's amazing.
I know. All right, so we know Filippo works real hard.
At trading.
At trading, yes. All right.
All right, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Good luck. Unless you're playing me, then I wish you the worst.
Yes. Doobie, I hope your entire team somehow spontaneously combusts.
Have a bad week, Greg.